Afternoon, everyone. My name is Madhumita Dash, and I work as a staff applied scientist with the US-based generative AI company called Accrete.ai. We have offices both in US and in India, Mumbai, India. We use generative AI to help government and enterprise companies in decision making. So today's talk would be focus on how generative AI is the future of agriculture. So let's begin. So first of all, what's generative AI and how it is different from the traditional AI? So traditionally, AI has been used like you provide an input and it generates an output. Usually, it learns from the input data, understands the patterns, and it has been used to either do predictive analytics or say classify certain images. So that's how traditionally AI has been used, but now we have moved into this new era of generative AI where now AI just doesn't is not limited just to predictive analytics or image classification, but it can now generate text for you. So, for example, if you ask questions, then it will answer you like how a human would answer to you. It can write an essay for you. It can generate images, audio, video, and in fact, like the recent Oscar-winning movie, the animated movie Flow, it was made completely using generative AI. So one example of generative AI, which everybody now like it's like a household term, is called ChatGPT. So that's based on generative AI. Now, if we talk about the evolution of generative AI, it's dates back to 2014. With first we had like something we called GAN or generative adversarial networks. They are based on the architecture of neural network, but it can say generate output for you, like images or text. And then a year after it, this paper was published, which titled "Attention is All You Need," where they introduced something called attention model, where this AI model can be used to identify like the features on which it needs to pay attention. Like you provided large scale of huge amount of input, and basically using this technology, it can identify which part it needs to actually pay attention. So if you think it's trying to mimic what humans do when we read a book, and if I give you a book to read and I ask you to tell me what the book is about, you are not going to narrate it word by word. You're going to remember the major part of it and just summarize to give the context, what the book is about. So that's what attention model did. So which gave rise to these huge transformer models, because now you can have these pre-trained models where you can train them on huge amount of data, say sentences, words, and using attention model, it can be taught to be perform certain task. So one could be complete the sentence. What would be the next sentence? Based on, if you give it enough data, then it would be able to generate the next few words in a sentence. So transformer models are the basis of, like, if you think like this, GAN, attention model, transfer model are the basis of like the GPT that we see now. So the first GPT model was released in 2018, and by 2019 also it was made open source with you. But I think the one when they released GPT-3, that's when, especially the GPT-3, which created the major um, popularity. Just within 2 months of its release, there have been over several million users using it, because it suddenly became now for the first time you can interact with AI like how you interact with a human being. And then over the year they have released newer versions of GPT, and in 2003 they released GPT-4 that was just not limited to text. It can even now analyze images, and now with the recent models of GPT it can even analyze audio, videos, and any kind of multimedia data for you. So there has been a rapid rise in the whole area of generative AI. And as I told in the beginning, that ChatGPT has become like a household name now, and it's being used for like you know different applications. Um, in some way it has become a challenge also, now people have to come up with ways, like homeworks are students are submitting their homeworks using chat gpt, so now they have again used some kind of a generative AI tool to identify if something is being generated by generative AI or not. So content creation is one major area where generative AI has almost taken over. So whether it's creating content for magazines, newspaper, movies, marketing copy. In fact, a lot of us have also started who are working in technology. We even use generative AI for generating codes. And the thing is, the reason you see such a rapid increase in generative AI, because a lot of manual task has been now taken over by generative AI. So development, research and development have become a rapid, it has become very fast and efficient thanks to generative AI, whether it's for scientific research also, for doing literature survey, for drug discovery, for even doing any complex analysis, generative AI is being used. In art and design, you do see, recently there has been a lot of images that using chat gpt people are, they're calling it ghibli, which they you provide your photo and it generates this cartoonish image of yours. So it has taken over art and design. But not only that, generative AI is also being used to create synthetic data, and then on these synthetic data, new models and updated models are also being trained. So it's the whole in introduction or the rise in generative AI has in fact accelerated its own development, research and development. That's why you see every year so many open source large language models or generative AI models are being released. The newer and newer versions are coming up. And with the recent, like the Chinese company DeepSeek, they created a major revolution, because they showed that with even so earlier it was that these generative AI models take billions of dollars to develop, but this company DeepSeek showed that even with you can create a model with very limited hardware resources. So there going to be a much more progress that you will see in the field of generative AI. um, One major thing, as I mentioned, that that 2020-21 kind of marked the switch from how we used to do search using Google search. Now people saying, why don't you Google search it? Now it is like ask chat gpt. So there has been a major transition, like how the world interacts with AI. So Google search is also AI, but now we have a much more capable AI that can communicate with you. It can understand the text you are writing, even if there are spelling mistake, grammatical errors, it can still understand what uh, is the question that you are asking, and do accordingly can perform certain task for you. So it's became like, that's why it became such a huge household name. It's the major impact of it has been like, that now um, we are moving towards to like a more of interactive AI rather than how traditional search has been working. And if you see in last 1 year, like if you have been using ChatGPT, then you would see that it updates the memory. So it makes it more personalized for you, customize the answers as per your history of usage and conversation with ChatGPT. And over time, the results and the answers and the suppose if you're using it to write an email or essay, it will start mimicking how you write, so if you have been using it accurately, it will start mimicking how you speak, how you write, so that it would seem more like that you have written rather than an AI has generated this kind of answer. So this has with, and I keep taking example of chat gpt, whereas now you have more such conversational AI like Gemini from Google, or Kimi.ai. There are now a lot more companies that have come up since the release of chat gpt, with the success that chat gpt, with the popularity that chat gpt saw. It has spurred so much of innovation and competition among the top software companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook. Every year they are releasing newer and newer models, making it cheaper, and newer and newer startups are also coming that are developing these kind of models. So this is leading to the availability of this model, the democratization of this entire technology for everyone. So it's now a lot of people have it on their phone, either ChatGPT or Gemini or some version of these conversational AI that helps them in their daily task. Now, that brings us to the focus that given that we are seeing such a huge impact of generative AI, is this going to be the new green revolution for us, that for agriculture? Because it provides, immense potential that it can help in decision making. It can be designed to provide personalized advisory to the farmers. It can be used for precision agriculture, for resource management. Now with Vision AI, with GPT-4 and all, we can even use it for pest and disease management, like for climate smart agriculture and risk mitigation, and for food quality analysis, for supply chain optimization and market linkage. So it has diverse potential now. So the next few slides, I would be focusing on like how generative AI is going to impact or is impacting the agriculture, and my major focus would be for Indian agriculture ecosystem. There has been, of course, tremendous growth in Western countries, because, anyways, their agriculture is the agriculture ecosystem is very different in the Western world versus how we do agriculture in India. So I would be focusing more towards that. Um, so some of the use cases that I believe, and we have seen in last few years with generative AI, is one is providing personalized farming advice. So as I mentioned, that if you keep using ChatGPT, it will start giving you very customized and personalized answers. So the only thing is ChatGPT is trained to do very generic tasks. Say something that everybody do, but when it comes to agriculture, it needs to be fine tuned. Like if you go and ask ChatGPT, it might give you certain answers, but keep in mind, ChatGPT was developed by a company that is based in US, and majority of their data that they have used is from Western countries. So the advisory that you might get from ChatGPT would be very much what they would give to like a Western farmer, like a farmer in, it might work for a farmer in US and Europe. So that's why we need like fine-tuned these large language models, which is ChatGPT actually, trained on like our local agricultural data, and so that it can provide tailored recommendations to our farmers. Kisan AI, they released a similar product called Dhenu few years back, that provides multilingual support and can provide like these personalized farming advice. We will be talking more about other companies and other startups that have developed products using generative AI. It can also be with the, now you have like voice assistants, you have chat bots that interact with you as a human being, and provided that you augment them, and enable them with the right kind of data, they can be a powerful resource to not only provide you with personalized advices, but they can do real-time problem solving. Like, you can take a picture of your farm and then think of like you now have an expert in the tips of your finger and ask them questions. So there are like now tools developed, like these kind of chatbot and voice assistants that have been developed using generative AI and large language models, that provide the instantly provide you answers to your agriculture related queries, whether it's related to what kind of pest or diseases, what kind of treatments you should do, what are the current market prices or government schemes. Now all of this is available at the tip of your fingers. The other thing is like these LLMs, large language models, they are they can trained on huge amount of data. They can further be fine tuned for a domain specific data, like and it can provide you like actionable insights. That's the key, and we will be talking about that as a major challenge. Like, you need to um, move from a generic conversational or a generic large language model like ChatGPT to more fine-tuned domain-specific models to actually see the full potential of this technology. The other use case has been like, I think, which has been a major focus in agriculture, is the way that traditional agriculture is happening in India. It's not sustainable. With the growing population, the land resources itself has become a huge challenge. And not only the land resources, but also the available water. Like 70% of India's water is being used by our agriculture, and that's because like the our water use efficiency is very poor. It's around say 40% whereas if you see in Western country, like Netherlands and all, they have a water use efficiency of 70%. Like the amount of water that is, most of the farms in India are overwatered. There is no way to measure and see like whether how are we actually optimizing the water usage. So that's where a major like role of generative AI V2C. There have been many agri-tech companies that have come up in India in last few years. Even government has taken um, a lot of initiatives like installing drip irrigation, uh, and installing sensors in the farms, where precision farming is being used. But now we see that like with um, the major challenge that was with precision for farming was like these sensors collect huge amount of data, then you have to process these sensor data and develop models on top of it, and then provide advisory to the farmers. Which made it like uh, uh, more challenge because you have to develop it for each crop, for each region. So the whole development process was slow when it came to precision farming. But now with generative AI, you can like simulate these crop growth conditions. As I said, one of the major use case of generative AI is in synthetic data generation. I believe like for precision farming, also generative AI will make the development of these models much faster than what we were seeing. So you will see a lot of precision farming advisory, like the prices of it going dropping and than what it has been previously. And so the technology will be now available to more and more farmers. So besides precision farming, generative AI can be used in pest and disease management, which is also part of the precision farming. If depending upon like the correct detection of the pest and disease and the right using the right kind of resource at the right time, you are actually utilizing the resources optimally. But it also will help you in creating advisories at the right time for the right moment to manage the pest and disease. Usually in traditional farming, they have a scheduled cycle when they spray their crop, the pesticide or the insecticide that they use. But with climate change, we are seeing like the a shift in the disease occurrence. So by the time a farmer is able to see that the symptoms of a disease, it's kind of late, which impact the crop quality, the crop yield. So, with vision AI and with using uh, weather data, the sensor data, now and along with the generative AI, you can simulate the conditions and when the diseases will occur, and based on the advisory from agriculture universities or extension services, these generative AI models can process these data much faster and much efficiently than what a human being can do, and provide you customized information that is specific to your crop, your locality, and your requirement. So, for example, if you are a farmer in, say, in some district in Himachal Pradesh, then based on your locality and the crop you are growing, it will identify what are the potential pest and disease that is occurring in the area. And then based on that, what are the treatments that you should take and where to buy these products from, the cost of all it. So all this is being done using generative AI. And one more important area is that these models are great in processing a huge amount of data, and uh, based on your requirement, it can generate a output in a given format that works for you. So whether it is like report generation, that when did you water, what resources did you use, when you see a disease occurring, you can now start generating this report, storing it. And in fact, these reports can again be provided to the models so that it can keep customizing and get better and better with its output generation for you. Also, like if it comes to your farm management, say finance management, the resource management, you can use this generative AI models or the large language models. You can provide your scattered agricultural data, and it can create amazing graph and tables for easier interpretation. So the so there is a huge potential that is there, but it depends on like how, it's time that we should start unlocking the power that is there in agricultural data and knowledge. Like with one major progress happened with by democratizing cell phone. So now everybody having mobile phones, now a lot of data has been available. Like anybody anywhere can start taking pictures and upload and share it with to a common system. So this has now we have huge amount of data, whether it's disease related, nutritional deficiency related, and you can or you can even take a picture of the soil, and it can now predict the kind of soil you have and how much water it will require. So this is where data labeling. Now we have this huge amount of data. A lot of these data are like actually unlabeled. So you can use generative AI for do the initial phase of data labeling. So, like say, for example, there are tools like Label GPT where you can provide it with your random images, and it can uh, automatically annotate it for certain diseases, for certain deficiency. And then using that, you can train your vision models as like a first round of training. Then the other thing is this helping and bridging the knowledge gap. Now you have these complex schemes, or complex agricultural research, and you can ask a chat GPT or any kind of fine-tuned LLM model to summarize it for you. Like even if you don't use a fine-tuned model, you can ask GPT. It does a very good job. You can say that explain this to me in a layman term, and it will explain what any complex findings or research papers very easily for you. You can take it a step further. One issue we observed while working with agri-tech companies is that like say a company that I worked for a company that focuses in precision agriculture. One challenge was that when you have designed so many advisory, say on disease prediction, on when to water, how much to water, it the entire application sometimes becomes complicated for farmers to navigate through and understand. But now you can have AI agent on top of it. So instead of you to navigate through the entire application, you can simply ask the AI agent, and the AI agent can sit on top of these applications and will provide you the right kind of answer. Not only that, if you have, like, say, an interactive agent, it will take you to the right uh, page in the application or the right place in the application and explain to you how to interpret that data. So over time, users become like you even provide a complex UI with an AI agent on top of it, and users start interacting with the AI agent, and over time they get very familiar with even with a complex application. So that becomes much easier for the tech companies because they spend a lot of time, energy, and money on the user interface, like how to make the UI accessible and user friendly, so that and it varies from user to user. Like what I find easier, you might find it very complex. But now you don't have to worry about and you can never design an UI that satisfied each and every user. But you can have a customized UI agent now, this generative AI agent that can help you navigate through these complex applications that are coming up for that have been developed to help farmers make decision. So that's where we do see and we are seeing a major use case of generative AI. The other area is climate smart agriculture. I will be talking about Croppin's Aksara, how it has been trained on agricultural specific to Indian agricultural data, and it provide insights into modern farming practices, what are the more sustainable method or organic methods or climate resilient techniques that one can apply, and also that based on the changing weather, what kind of actions it provides actionable insights to the user also. So as we see, like, there is a huge potential for generative AI. I will be talking briefly about one area of generative AI, which is like vision AI. So actually, vision AI is the field of AI where the input are visual data, say images, videos, or say satellite imagery, drone images. These are the inputs, and vision AI processes these inputs and then provide a recommendation or actionable insights on top of it. So now vision has been integrated to generative AI, as I mentioned, with the release of GPT-4. Now chat GPT earlier was only able to say process textual data, but now generative AI have developed eyes also. So one example is like this company labeler. They are not just focused on, say, just agriculture data, but they provide, auto labeling, intelligent labeling for different domains, including healthcare, agriculture, transportation. So, but with Vision AI, being integrated to generative AI, you can now start using them for real-time crop and produce monitoring. As I said, either you have a drone or you take pictures or you have some kind of CCTV camera installed that is clicking picture, and then link it to your mobile, and it can give you real-time advisory or send you alerts based on the your crop conditions and your farm conditions. It can be used for, like, say, livestock observation, also field surveillance, for identifying when it's harvest time based on ripeness detection, for sorting and quality control, as well as it can be used for predictive forecasting, say what would be the crop yield if there is any potential disease or pest alert that should be generated. So it can, create these kind of alerts, can create even synthetic data to train these kind of vision models and generate reports and advisory based on these vision AI model findings. So now, generative AI, they have their own eyes. In fact, they can also hear. Now, I think hopefully very soon, once they would be able to smell, I think then it can completely take over the monitoring, surveillance of agricultural product. Uh, now I would be focusing, I have been mentioning these names as an example of, generative AI use case. So one I mentioned was Dhanu. They have released even a vision version of it recently. So this is, they trained it on Indian agricultural practices. Initially, it supported English and Hindi, but now they have multilingual support, and it is voice operated, can help provide you personalized support, provide you personalized advisory, disease diagnosis, etc. Similarly, Cropin also released a platform, Aksara. They built it on a fine-tuned open source large language model, but they have also augmented it with RAG. So if you remember, in ChatGPT, there is like a memory, but you might see that sometimes it say memory is full, because the memory that is available with these models for free is very limited. So in RAG, what you do, you provide like specific data and a large database from which it can pull in more information, provide more context to the model, and it can give you customized responses based on the area that you are focusing on. So Cropin has released Aksara, which is focused on climate smart agriculture practices. Initially, it is in English, but I think they are also coming up with multilingual support for this platform. Besides that, there are several agri-tech companies that and like initiatives by government that has happened. So Kisan AI, Dhanu is one, but they have several other models that are there on their platform. Tartan Sense, they use drones and robotic technology also to provide farming advisory. AgNext focuses on supply chain quality control management, and even Odisha government started this initiative, where they developed a chatbot for the farmers in Odisha and called Amokrush AI, which again, you can communicate with this chatbot in uh, different, Odia languages as well as local dialects. Uh, and but there are the adoption of generative AI is not at the same pace that you see in the West. Like as I mentioned earlier, I work for an US based company. The way I do see the adoption there for the government, for the companies, it's little challenging when it comes to India. One major is that all the LLMs, they are developed either in Western countries or like by the top models that are there, either they have been developed in US, Europe, or China and Japan. So most of these models, Japanese language is very difficult. So Japan has developed their own foundation models. China has developed several foundation models. I think India currently lacks a specific foundational models, given that we have such a huge variety of language, local dialects. So I think we first need foundation model that should be developed in India. There have been efforts taken, like all the startups I mentioned, Dhanu, Aksara, they have taken these large language models that are developed in Western country and further fine-tuned it on Indian languages. But it's very different when you develop your own foundation models. The other thing is that our agriculture is still very traditionally done. It's There is lack of usage of still sensors or tools, or automation is still not to the certain extent like how it is in Western ecosystem. And the Indian agriculture ecosystem is also highly segmented. So collecting this data and giving localized agricultural advisory is going to be a huge challenge. There are being and the I think soil health card was one initiative that government of India took, which was reason to to collect quality data. But I think we still lack in the amount of data and the quality of data that we have. The other thing is the technology availability. All these technology require good internet connections, and for most remote farmers or smallholders farmer, the internet connectivity, smartphone, the quality, the having 5G services is a challenge. Even when for IoT companies, when they have to go and install their devices in remote area, one major challenge was most of the time there is no connectivity, or the device gets disconnected and you don't have you have this fragmented data that you collect from these locations. So I think there are a lot of now initiatives that government are taking to overcome these kind of obstacles. So one is uh, farmer adoption. Like this is one major thing. Like most, if you go with a new language, with a new technology to any farmer, they usually do not trust it. They mostly believe that you are here to take away their land or take away their profit. It's very difficult to build that kind of trust with the farmers, and initially it might require, to provide that technology for them for free of cost, so that they can use and develop that kind of trust, or at a very provide some kind of subsidy so that farmer can start using this kind of technology, provide their feedback, and develop, so that we can also develop a very farmer friendly interfaces with all kind of local language support and very customized to the farmer's requirement. The other thing is, like, most of these models are still a black box for majority of the people. You even asked a top software engineer, like, how does ChatGPT is able to generate these answers? How do they know? A lot of them wouldn't know, and a lot of people wouldn't even know the limitations of these generative AI. Like, they do hallucinate, they do generate, like, I think now Gemini is a part of Google search. You ask any question, it will, even though it doesn't exist, it will still try to give you an answer. So that is one major challenge of it. And so we need more explainable AI, like, on top of these complex models. The other thing is, like, we of course need to focus on cost and infrastructure. We need to develop our own infrastructure to support and store the data, and develop these foundation models. These would require, like, installing servers and hardwares in India, and, like, so that the farmer data, all these data, like, can be stored securely within India. They need not to go outside India to be stored in some server sitting in China or US. So this is where, like, steps are being taken to develop indigenous agricultural large language models, because it will address the diversity, the linguistic diversity that we have in our country, uh, even in the local dialects. And then the model can adapt and understand and effectively communicate on basis of that. Then, like, it provide, like, agricultural and LLM will have more contextual understanding of the unique Indian agricultural requirements, the farming practices, what kind of technology is available, what kind of schemes or a market is actually available, and can provide advisory on basis of that. Most importantly, like, we can store the sensitive agricultural data within India. If you use, say, ChatGPT and fine tune any model on top of that, it is still, like, there is a good chance the data is being sent to Western countries that now have access to our sensitive information. And then this will empower, like, local innovation also. We are seeing more and more startup coming within India, more and more research happening in Indian academia also. So this will foster, like, a ecosystem within India where we develop, we not only take technology from Western country and then apply it, but we develop it in house. We provide, like, we develop it so that it's the people of India can use, where 60%, like, of the population is below poverty line. So you can place the product in a same way so that everybody can use it, not just the top 1% or 5% of the country. It's the same thing that happened with, like, the development of drugs, drug discovery, and in pharmaceutical innovations that happened in India. Now a lot of expensive Western drugs are easily available to Indian population. I think that's what we need for agriculture also. And Indian AI mission is, that's where India has allocated a huge budget to boost, like, AI capabilities. India has collaborated with NVIDIA to build a high-end computing facility. In fact, the government has provided, this startup Servam AI. Recently they were in news that they will receive huge computing resources to build a foundational LLM for India. And last year, actually, NVIDIA CEO also came to India. There was, like, the NVIDIA conference happened in India, which never happens. It's always happens in US or Taiwan. But the reason being due to the joint collaboration between Geo and NVIDIA, where they're going to develop AI language models that are tailored for Indian agricultural, different Indian sectors, including agriculture. And the Geo has a huge data center. Like they have been one of the major mobile providers, so they have access to this huge amount of data. And then using NVIDIA's hardware resources, they're going to come up with models and platforms so that you can to foster an AI ecosystem in India. Indian AI has developed a data set also. They have developed Center of Excellence for AI, including agriculture, to drive research and application of AI in agriculture and different fields. Then there they have started a program called Bhashini, which is a lot of the translation that are available, actually people still depend on Google, and usually those corpus or those translation are very poor. So they are not going to focus on making these national language translations available for digital services. Um, so the this uh, what we do see is that generative AI is there in the horizon, and it's going to reshape the future of agriculture. We will now have very hyper personalized farming advisories. With the availability of these personalized models, as I said, all this will be available at the tip of your fingers, to access and ask these kind of questions. Hopefully we will move also towards to autonomous system, where we can couple, if not with robotics, but at least with automated sensors to take cert, take not only provide actionable advisory, but also take actions, automated actions. Then provide more accurate predictions for market trends, for weather, for pest and disease, provide sustainable practices based on more accurate predictions. Now the expertise won't just be limited to a few people, but it will be available to everyone. And then hopefully there will be continued innovation, like emergence of more specialized tools that are cheaper and that are better in providing the expertise. So just to recap everything, the generative AI is there. It's going to shape and transform the future of Indian agriculture. Its major benefits will be in enhanced productivity and efficiency, sustainability, and in empowering our farmers. The path forward is going to be that we need specific foundational models and resources and data storage to be available in India to foster innovation, and it requires strong government support, which we are seeing happening. And this is going to be, and generative AI is going to be a major enabler for food security and rural prosperity in India. So uh, hopefully this talk helped you in giving an understanding and an insight to the future of generative AI in agriculture. So I thank you all. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you, Ms.
yeah,
Madhumita.
yeah, thank you.
So, thank you for a very detailed presentation. Let's take up some questions now.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So there could be some basic questions. I'll just still repeat them. Still read out them. So how is generative AI different from traditional AI in agriculture?
So traditional AI has, it's trained, it won't. So, for example, if you have a predictive model, it can either predict what the temperature is going to be next for 1 hour, for 1 day, or for 14 days. Or it can help you in provide it an image and it will classify what kind of disease it could be. But when it comes to generative AI, it's just not limited to these specific tasks. Like it can now generate beyond, like when it comes to generating answers also. So it's not going to generate you a specific particular one word or two word, or like a number. It can generate a series of text for you and like write entire sentences, because of which now you can interact with this AI like a human being. It's not now limited to just text generation. It will create, you provide it a prompt that generate this kind of image and it will create an image for you. It can even create a video for you, audio also for you. So which traditional AI lacked. Now AI has been given, think like earlier, that was the major difference between AI and human beings, that we can create stuff, we can generate new ideas, new images, or write poems. AI couldn't do that, but now generative, with the evolution of generative AI, we see AI doing it. It can even write an entire movie script, write an entire poem for you, or a novel altogether for you.
Okay. And next question, can generative AI help small and marginal farmers? If so, how?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Can generative AI help small and marginal farmers? If so, how?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as I mentioned, that's where we see the major potential of it. But that depends on, that generative AI should be available to everyone, which is like the first step of democratizing this technology. So, say now you have a chat GPT on your phone that is activated, that can understand the what you are speaking. Like how people have Alexa and they ask Alexa to do certain things. You now will have an agent that is there on your phone or on a small device or on a small machine, whichever is easier for you. You can take it everywhere. You can ask it any questions. If not, only you can even click a picture and ask it for expertise. And it's not about farming practices. It can go up to that I need this kind of financial support. What schemes are available in my area? Where to get that schemes? Or what is the best place to sell my produce, so that you can derive maximum profit? Where to buy this resource, like say a pesticide or a fertilizer, and it will list you all the prices that are available, what discount is available, and can help you in making the decision what is the best place to buy from. So all these things could be made available to even a small holder farmer. The only thing is the technology, ChatGPT is now free, but as I mentioned that it should it requires good internet connectivity. It requires a decent 5G service. So that's where once we have the right infrastructure and at the right cost, it is going to change how agriculture is being done in the country, and it's going to mostly be crucial for small scale farmers.
Okay. And what are the current use cases of generative AI in Indian agriculture?
So currently, generative AI is being used in providing personalized farm advisories, whether it's for disease management. Like you now have these chatbots where you can ask these questions. share images, share pictures, and you have this generative AI agent that answers it for you. Very similar to how people use ChatGPT. So the platforms like they know by Kisan AI or by Crop in Xaras, they provide you climate smart advisories. Then there are like AdNext and other platforms also like Farmer.chat that also help you with answering questions regarding market prices or like you know uh, resources a trend of the market prices, so that when is the right time and the right place to sell your produce also. So yeah, I mean that's you are seeing a use case of these generative AI in Indian agriculture also.
Okay. And can generative AI assist in personalized crop or soil recommendations?
It can. It's not like it cannot. It has the potential to give you even a personalized and customized crop and soil recommendations. And it is being done. It's like you see the usage in many precision farming companies and their advisory. They are using um, to a certain extent generative AI in providing personalized crop and the soil advisory.
Okay. Next question is, how can generative AI support decision making in climate resilient farming?
Yeah, I mean, so it could it can looking at one major thing is with the changing climate, your decision making had to be dynamic and customized. So with generative AI, if given the access to the current weather and the upcoming weather, they can provide you customized advisory on when to spray, how much to spray. They can, as I said, like now generative AI have vision AI. They have eyes also, so you can capture the farm images and or the satellite images, and they can process it. You need not to capture. There are satellites that are capturing, but your generative AI can get access to this data and provide you customized advisory on when how to take certain action. So one use case could be say fertilizer, like over usage of fertilizer is the one major reason for greenhouse gas emission. But if we optimize the resources of like how much fertilizer is being used and when to use it, and how much to water it, so that there is not leaching of these fertilizer and wastage of fertilizer, that will make the very efficient usage of these resources. And based on the changing climatic conditions, what kind of pest and disease management actions and advisory that you should take based on the advisory that are available in different extension agents. But they are scattered, they are all over the websites now. If you see with ChatGPT and all these new generative AI models, they have what they call reasoning agents. So it looks through the web and to the entire web, search for this particular thing, and then give you customized advisory. So instead of you, and one thing computers are very good with is processing huge amount of data very fast. It might take you hours to process this data, computers will do it in seconds. So they can access all this data, the weather data, the research data, and all like blogs and services that are being announcement that are being published by extension units or agriculture universities, and give you a very uh, like you know an insight and advisory that is climate smart and climate resilient.
Okay. Yeah. And what type of farm level data is needed to benefit from generative AI?
We definitely, I think that's one area where we lack. It's it's the I think soil health card was one initiative, but it is that what kind of soil is there, how the soil is distributed. But more than that, different farm sizes and what crops are being grown, the the distribution of these farms, the crop, the soil quality, and if possible, farm level sensor data also, what is the microclimate. What we currently are capturing are macroclimate, but uh, thanks to the huge urbanization, population, and climate change, it has created a very difference in local climates, which we call the microclimate. How the microclimate of the farm is going to determine the productivity, the disease and pest occurrence that will happen. So we need these kind of microclimatic data that these weather sensors can capture easily. So yeah, I think we need more localized microclimate data, soil data, and the um, we also need to update the Indian map also. Like if it's most of the satellite map data that is available in India are from British times. So they don't provide how agriculture land and urban population and everything is distributed. If you go by the map data we have currently available, we have over 40% of forest coverage, which is not the case. So that's going to impact a lot of the predictive analytics that you do. And that's why most of the predictive analytics is also not accurate when you develop for Indian agriculture ecosystem. So we definitely need to update the digital map that we have available. Yeah, so I think these are the data that we need to focus on and work toward.
Okay. How can farmers with limited digital literacy access generative AI tools?
So I think that's why we need as I said, Chat GPT people are using. It's easily accessible, but currently Chat GPT only provides there are certain platforms that they have developed translation on top of Chat GPT, but it doesn't do a great justice. But these platforms like Kisan AI, they have or farmer.chat. These are some of the generative AI tools that the farmers can start using. You can download it from easily from Play Store, either Android or iPhone Play Store. But yes, you will need a smartphone to access these tools. But they are easily available on Play Stores, and then it's voice activated, so you need not to type also. So it's almost like once activated, it's like speaking to a voice agent that in the language you are comfortable with. They currently use a translator on top of it, so there might be or if the multilingual supports like the one that are developed for Indian agriculture ecosystem, they have done a decent job in providing multilingual support. So it works for major languages in India, so you can interact in the language you are comfortable with, ask it questions, ask it for advisories. So I think farmers can actually start using, and I know a lot of farmers are using. I do see them posting, them showing screenshot of the um, the AI tool that the generative AI tool that they have downloaded, and what advisory it provided and how accurate it has been. In case it wasn't accurate, you can even provide the feedback, and the model, improves accordingly. And newer and newer version of the models are getting released now much faster. So you will keep seeing improvement in these tools. So yeah, I mean, start using, I think I've given examples of a lot of the tools that are available, and they are easily available. You can download it on your mobile phone and start using it.
Okay, right. Um, what role can FPOs play in adopting generative AI technologies?
I think this, what I mentioned, that to go and download the right kind of tool, setting it up, uh, that's where making this tool accessible to all these farmers is there will be, a major role of FPOs there. um because, that it's a vast we have a vast country. Me speaking here, maybe it's going to reach 0.1% of the people. So even if you do, announcement on national television, which, the prime minister has done, addressed and spoken about different platforms that are available, but still that information then get available to a very, for the farmers to adopt this technology is going to take a lot more effort, and uh, a lot of this is going to be done by FPOs. Like, I think what FPOs can do is get them familiarized with this progress that is happening in generative AI, uh, in generative AI Indian ecosystem, the tools that are available, especially those that are available for free or for, uh, lesser cost, especially if you are using it for, FPOs can download it and provide access to, at an enterprise level, they have that kind of cost system also, that you can download it, and then a lot other users can start using it. So that's where I think FPOs will play a major role in this technology adoption. Will be driven through a lot of these FPOs, which we saw when, IoT device adoption happened. A lot of FPOs started installing these IoT devices for the farms, and the educating the farmers, like how to use that, and then how to understand the advisory that is coming into the system, and then how to taking actions as per that. So I think, yeah, I mean, FPOs are going to play a major role in this technology adoption.
Okay. And what are the key challenges in deploying generative AI at the farm level?
I think deploying generative AI, it's depending upon, like, how extensive of a system you need is, the challenges will depend on that. Suppose if you want to include vision also with your uh, generative AI, then you might need to have sensors that can communicate with your device and provide you that advisory. But most of the research that is now happening in generative AI is focused towards, making deployment faster. Like, there isn't uh, much that farmers have to do, except, installing an application on their phone. But like, suppose uh, and but when it comes to collecting farm level of data, then it would require installing sensors, which would require having the right kind of internet connectivity. That becomes a little bit of challenge, provide that kind of technical support. But if we talk about, these generative AI chatbots, that are pretty simple to install. Adoption is a different case, but deployment of that is just, you make it available. Now everybody has cell phone, everybody has different applications on their phone. You see people using TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook from all over the country. So, uh, and these chatbots are now voice activated. They have multilingual support. So, their deployment is fairly easy. Until unless, like, you want to, as I said, like if sensors are there in the questions, that would require some expertise. But just personal advisory and all that is now fairly easier to deploy.
Okay. So now we have the last question. Yeah. How do you see the future of generative AI evolving in Indian agriculture in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the next 5 years, I do see like seeing the initiatives and the huge amount of investment that government of India has taken in developing foundational models and multilingual support. So, of course, see that now the chat GPT that we only see maybe 5% or 10% of the population using, you will see a way wider usage of it. That's that's definitely I'm going to that there is going to be a rise in the usage of these generative AI bots in Indian agriculture system. Like how Google was a lot of farmers have started and are familiar with Google and YouTube and other Google products also. I think uh, that's going to be taken over by generative, and it's already there. Like now, if you do a Google search, you have an AI generated answer also there. So of course, I mean that's where I do see a huge adoption, and with multilingual support, and especially developed for the Indian ecosystem, the usage is going to be much wider there. Um, I think next 5 years is less time to say that that we will start seeing the full potential of generative AI usage in India. But I think it's hard to say also because the rapid growth that is happening, as I said, because now you have an AI model that interacts like human being and now can generate uh, things also like how human do. So that's accelerating its own development, research and development. So I mean, even the way the development is happening in this field, I've been working in AI for almost over 10 years, but it still surprises me. Like I think even I couldn't have predicted, if you would have asked me 4 years back where generative AI would be, I wouldn't have predicted that it will be so rampant and so widespread in its usage. So I think, I mean, it's either going to take over or, uh, with so much of investment and initiative being taken by Indian government, I think we very soon will catch up how it's being used in other countries. But I think it depends on a lot of other factors also. So let's see, from infrastructure wise, cost wise, but you will definitely see an increase in generative AI. It's going to be staying there. It's not going to go away.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Madhumita, I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for a very detailed presentation, answering all the questions in depth. So we'll be ending this meeting now.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.